All right, we are now recording. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Alpine District Roundtable, Scouts BSA, and Venturing breakout session. With that, I'm going to go and share my screen. And I've got a number of topics to talk through tonight. Do we have anybody from the National Youth Leadership Training course here? I was expecting one of their assistant senior patrol leaders to join and talk through the course. I do not have anybody from there, so I will go ahead, and we did talk about it last month at our the February roundtable meeting, and so this is the most of troops try to hold introduction to leadership skills for troops or crews, depending, and but sort of the next level up is to send some number of your medium or older scouts to National Youth Leadership Training. Chief Seattle Council is offering 3 courses this year. They're all at Camp Piggott, and they are overlapping a little bit. So week 1 overlaps into week 2, which then overlaps into week 3. So there's no overlap between 1 and 3, but they kind of depending on any of those. So each course will have its own troop, and the scouts get grouped into patrols of people they don't know, is in similar fashion to Wood Badge. Great opportunity. As a reference, I like to guidance if you think about for your troop, what your troop looks like in around this time of year, maybe the 1st of April. Look at your total head count, your total membership, and you might think about setting up to 10% of that to NYLT. These are scouts that you think might be, a good ASPL or senior patrol leader, or maybe currently, or maybe next term or the term after that. So, sort of minimum the scout needs to be age 13, could be 14 or 15, or just whatever, depending on the maturity of the scout. But it's a great experience. I took it and staffed it many a year ago, but it's great leadership experience to help develop your scouts, and especially the scout you're going to have as your next senior patrol leader. So I encourage you to send those. A lot of troops will help sponsor those. The cost of the course is actually fairly low. It's like $275 or something close to that. Cheaper than summer camp, and some troops may sponsor some of it. My own troop, I think, will contribute $100 towards that for scouts we've sort of selected to go. So anyway, encourage folks to participate in that, or at least to consider sending scouts to that. Any other thoughts on that? All right, great. Also, now, a couple things. This is more for your committee chair or membership people. If you log into my.scouting with any frequency at all, you realize things have been slowly, changing and try to, generally I would say for the better. One of the things that changed in the last month or so, maybe that's the first time I realized it anyway. When you have your pull down menu, member manager and organization manager, those 2 features no longer show up depending on what your role is. If you're a key 3 leader, a scout master, a committee chair, charter org rep, or one of the delegates for that, or maybe you're the membership chair. Those folks would have those features normally. Now it's just called roster. So if you pull that down your menu, it'll just say roster. And there are a bunch of things you can use to produce rosters, your personal profile, or produce reports. So that's if you look through that, it looks different. It has a lot of the same functionality. It's a little bit cleaner. So that's relatively new. Just saying, if you see things where it's not quite where you thought it used to be, it's true, it did change, and it now comes up under roster, which should be fairly obvious, I think, for most folks. Questions on that? All right, great. With that, okay, this is because Carol raised her hand earlier today and said, "What? What do they have to say about this?" So as you may recall, last June, the BSA National announced that there would be a diversity, equity, and inclusion merit badge, or something close to that title if they changes. and they expect that would have that available and ready to go live, like first of this year. And they got a lot of the requirements were released at least just council executives, and that got out to various other scouters across the country. There's a lot of requirement, a lot of feedback from that from different groups with different perspective on things, and so they've paused that for the moment. They're trying to figure out what to do next. So if you're thinking about your scout, so at some point this will become a required Eagle. It'll be the 13th Eagle required merit badge. That is, until further notice, the 13 plus your electives remain to be the current requirements. So it's not, there's no date as to when that's going to be available at this point. So we'll see. But I just want people to be aware of that. It's not, the hope would be available in May or June or something this year. But Carol, unless you or Kirk Albrecht have fresh information from last night, we don't really have any more than that. So just be aware it's in the background. It's still in work, but nothing firm at the moment. Carol?
This is the Eagle required merit badge, correct?
Yes, right. It's this is this. Can you see my screen, or am I not sharing?
You're sharing.
Okay, great. Yeah. Yes, this is this would be it's a new merit badge. It's something that was announced last June at least as a by title or a concept. There were a couple rounds of requirements or proposed requirements that were floated around last fall, and there was a lot of feedback from a lot of different, like any group of scouters, you're going to get with a lot of different opinions on it. So I think they couldn't come up with something they're comfortable with, or at least that met everyone's needs. So this one will be interesting to see how this rolls out. But this will be a 14th Eagle required merit badge, so they reduce the number of electives. It doesn't replace a different one; it's just one more, and it's not. There's no timeline as to when that's going to be. They thought it would be sometime this year. Maybe it may be this year, but it's nothing on the calendar yet.
And will it be like when the cooking merit badge was implemented, and if you turned in your requirements by a set date, if you turned in all your paperwork by a set date, it was not required?
I would expect that would be the case. Normally, there'll be a I don't think grandfathered, but there's it's the requirements become available so you could start working on this date, and then any scout that has their Eagle board review after this date, sometime down the line, would have to have that as included.
Okay. That's what they did with cooking in 2013. That
makes sense. Yeah. Thanks, Deb.
Yeah, since a lot of these badges have like timeline requirements of you have to do this for so many months or so, they definitely are going to implement some sort of like grace period of making exceptions for, oh hey, my scout has you just implemented this badge say in August, and my scout has a birthday in December. Am I going to have to do this if the timeline is like 6 months? And they're going to go, oh no, don't worry about it. So exceptions will be made. The latest that Kirk and I talked about last night was that basically in January, National postponed the merit badge. They pulled every speck of material they had from their website with a to be determined date for more information. And so right now it is not required for Eagle, and it won't be until more information is known. The date for when that will be is unknown. Maybe August at the earliest, but that's just a pure guess at this point. The committee for the badge was actually dissolved. And all the people who are working on it are now working on the committee for all merit badges. So my guess is until, we won't hear anything until they get a committee back together to work on it. And the latest on the Eagle rank requirements have not been updated since then. So basically bottom line is don't worry about it. Until you hear more, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it for now. Have your scouts continue to work on their same merit badges they've been working on for the last however long. So, okay, thanks, Carol. If you have any other updates, obviously I'd like to. A lot of folks that are, particularly folks that have scouts that are in the life that are kind of getting towards Eagle that want to know, hey, am I gonna need to do this? It's a great thing to do, but also you don't want to be held up your board review if you do or don't need to complete that requirement. So
yeah, and I think right now even the name of the merit badge is in flux. So if they're still working on a name, we're still a ways out from it being implemented.
Yeah, and what it would include. Okay, with that, I had two topics, and the National Commissioner website has some roundtable material. I wanted to try that out. So there's a couple of videos I want to go, and the videos are 3 to 5 minutes that I would want to share and kind of facilitate a discussion with those and get people's input on how your unit does certain things. This one happened to be a topic from last August. As turns out, we don't have this district doesn't hold a roundtable in August, but it's very timely for my own unit in particular, and probably for a lot of you. It's something to think about as you start bringing new Weeblos or Weeblos have just crossed over into your unit, and their parents, many of whom may have had Cub Scout leadership, adult leadership positions, getting them engaged with your program and help think about, well, what's your, what roles should they be engaged in? So let me see if I can make this work and share the video with that. So let me go. I think I have to stop sharing my screen for a moment because I have to share it with the video. So stand by. Okay, I'm gonna go try off the video. So make sure you can see if you can hear the video, the sound from the video. If you can hear it, then you can go ahead. Please give me a thumbs up.
After completing this session, you should be able to cite why we need to look continuously for new leaders and plan for and recruit your replacement.
If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail.
Benjamin Franklin. There are no forever jobs in scouting. Troop leaders need to recruit a successor because they may have to leave the troop for life reasons. Their scout may want to pursue other scouting opportunities. A family situation could mean a change in involvement. Studies show that when parents are involved with the troop as leaders, their scouts have a better time and stay in the program longer. Here's one process for finding and recruiting new leaders. To be clear, we're not talking only about finding a replacement for the Scoutmaster or the Assistant Scoutmaster. All the troop committee positions require succession planning. Use the Troop Resource Survey to discover what skills and interests exist among the parents and any other volunteers. Identify from the survey those who would work best with you and others whose attributes make them better suited for the troop committee positions. Aside from the Troop Talent Survey, you might consider one-on-one meetings with the following groups to identify potential leaders, starting with families who were leaders in Cub Scout packs. These folks make ideal prospects because they understand what being a scout leader really means. Then, there are individuals who want or need to change their position in scouting. You might also approach members of the chartering organization, and mature Eagle Scouts who want to give back could make ideal troop leaders. Once you've identified and connected with potential successors, conduct a meeting with your candidates to explain how each can help make the troop successful. Describe what jobs need to be filled, what the position entails, and the time involved without using scouting jargon if the group consists of parents that are new to the program. No one has to say yes immediately. Let everyone consult with their families. Then capture in writing who volunteers or who will consider a position. Now the time comes to get a commitment. Use your list of those interested in taking a leadership position to contact the people individually. Remind them what the job entails. Be sure to address any questions or concerns and make them comfortable. Ask them to take the position. Tell each one how to access available training and who can help them succeed. The successor could also shadow the current leader until they understand the position by doing. So in closing, remember these 3 things. Recruit leaders continuously and then let them lead. People do things in different ways, so let them do so. Recruiting will be easy if your job looks simple and fun. So take some time now during this breakout session and discuss how to approach leadership succession at your council. Thanks for watching, and scout me in.
Yeah, Ken, you mind sending that out?
I will. In fact, it's on the link. So all of these slides are actually on the district website.
Welcome, I'm Juan.
And I'm Faye. And today
Stand
we
by.
have the pleasure of discussing an essential topic that is pivotal to our movement, diversity and inclusion.
All right, sorry, the next video had started. So yes, you'll get, those are, if you go on the district website and under Roundtable, there are, these slides are already there, the ones I'm showing you right now. And that video link is a hot link to that. It will take you straight to that video. So it's a good thing. My own troop and many of the others may have had similar challenges. Obviously, we've had had limited amount of meetings. If they are, mostly have been online meetings this year, and it's not an ideal time to transition key leadership roles. But in some cases, we've had they do that. People need to move on for whatever reason. Their scout is graduated. They're no longer doing scouting. They have they're moved away. Different things happen. In some cases, they just aged out. There is a great slide here, or resource that I actually didn't even know existed, but I probably should have known that. But and there's a copy of this, a link to this slide. It's to the Troop Resource Survey. And the pack, when I was a Cub Master, we'd created something similar to that just ourselves. It wasn't as complicated as this, but at least said, do you have any specific skills or things you enjoy doing or would like to share with scouts? So this is a great thing. It certainly looks like to me. Have to just hand out to all of your incoming parents, and different folks you might surprise people. Maybe they don't want to be an assistant scout master, but maybe they would enjoy, taking scouts, help teaching something in a merit badge for something. So this is a great resource to go through. Has anyone else seen this or tried using it?
Yeah, by the way, it's a good resource, not just for new parents, but good to do with all parents on a regular basis, because as people are in scouting over time, they start to become more familiar with what they like to do and what they're good at. Yeah,
thanks, Jonathan. That's good put there. This just gives I like this in the sense that it doesn't give you, it's not assigning you to forcing you to sign up for something in particular, but it does get a sense of, if it's someone you've worked with, maybe they're in a Cub Scout unit that you used to work with, used to be part of, you might know some of those people and say, oh, hey, he's so-and-so, he's a big hiker. Yeah, I bet he'd enjoy to go out on our first backpacking trip or something. Other folks, or maybe, oh gosh, he works for such and such, maybe be a great merit badge counselors for this topic or something. But you never know. A lot of people have a lot of really interesting hobbies or backgrounds. Maybe they studied this person studied history in college, or maybe just have a personal interest in world citizenship in the world, that sort of thing. So it's a great vehicle to do that as you start to bring in new parents into the program and getting them engaged and get them involved as at some level, whatever they're comfortable with. Again, that could be anywhere from, that might be your next Scoutmaster, to someone that decide I want to be on the troop committee and sit on board reviews. A lot of different opportunities for that, or help teach a merit badge course every so often. So
there's not an electronic version of this that summarizes it once you get all the responses, or it's all paper?
It's all paper. Yeah, this is just a PDF file. That's a really good idea. If you had, it'd be nice if you could bring them all in.
It's a great idea.
That's a really there's got to be somebody that works for Microsoft or Amazon or somebody around who could put that together. But yeah, it'd be nice if you can pull it up and say, oh gosh, you could have suddenly when I look at all this, you could, get a nice matrix that comes out of that. It says, okay, this person would be, okay, who's interested in game design or fishing or something? Gosh,
Right.
here's a couple parents that signed that said they love fishing. So they would love to. It might be great to do that. So anyway, have any other units recently have had good or bad experiences, kind of as you've tried to bring in new leaders? I'm thinking in particular would be your key 3 leadership positions, but really could be any roles that way, and what you've had, things you've done. Say,
And you know that in
this year.
636, in 636, we just changed Scoutmasters. And during COVID, it's a challenge because we lost a year. For that year, it was a year of getting to know people and going on trips with people and camping with people that just, we really, this piece of paper is helpful, but it's also really helpful to spend time with people and see, what they're like in different situations. And we lost a year of that, and a year in the time frame of scouting is a big percentage.
It
So
is.
we wanted somebody that had much younger scouts so that they could be around longer, but we didn't have the chance to get to know them because they crossed over only a year and a half before.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a challenge. Although that being said, I think we ended up with a great scoutmaster and an assistant scoutmaster that they're going to partner together to make it kind of a 2-person team to share the responsibility. So it ended up working out great, but it was definitely during COVID much different than it had been in the past.
Yeah, I know your son aged out recently, and you've done a great job, and I was glad to see Amit take over that role. So that's great. So I wish I can say the same for my own unit at the moment. We're still trying to figure out who that person's going to be, and we have a lot of great scouters in Troop 571, but it's also a big job if you're not good at delegating a lot of those responsibilities out, because having to do that many Scoutmaster conferences for almost 100 scouts.
Ken, think about it as a 2-person team. One that's a Scoutmaster that does, Scoutmaster conferences, sort of the front and the face, and then a strong number 2 assistant Scoutmaster that will take on more of the administrative responsibilities. The 2 together make it easier to sell the one role as opposed to the 2 combined. Takes less time. I wish that I had thought of that when I started being a Scoutmaster. Boy, it saved me a couple of gray hairs.
Imagine so. Any other units around the way you've had similar, experience you could share with the group here? I like that, John. That's really good.
Yeah, Ken. Stan is my replacement. Right.
I've met him. I've talked with him. That's great.
Yeah. So we ended up, the chartered org rep met with the current Scoutmaster and the 2 immediate past Scoutmasters, and they came up with the qualities that they thought were needed for a good committee chair, and then the search went from there. And we're very fortunate that Mr. Kuplita stepped up, and he's going to be awesome. So I'm just hanging out doing training and hopefully helping Gary and Kirk with the training and advancement at the district level.
Great. Deb, thank you. I'm glad to have you on board and continue to be on board. Now, you did that job for a good long time, and that's once you get a new replacement to transfer all that knowledge and experience into that person to take over that is a big deal. So
yeah, there's some pretty big shoes to fill. I'm working on it.
Yeah, well, you're out. You got the enthusiasm, and you're out collecting information, which is great. And glad to see you here, which is great. Any other units you're around the district? Good thoughts that way. You've done that way. I mean, splitting the job around, particularly for a larger job like a committee chair or district or Scoutmaster. Trying to make sure that they're not trying to do shoulder that all by themselves. So, okay, well, great. Hey, Carol.
I was going to say that I was actually recruited at the Alpine District Committee meeting. And so I'm completely outside the troop. I have no kids in the troop itself. I'm just a avid scouter from the area, and I got recruited at a committee meeting. So I would also say, don't just look inside your troop. Like that video said, sometimes they can be in the community, sometimes they can be at your charter organization. But look around, because there are avid people who want to join.
Nice. Carol, thank you. And that's great. You're a great fit for girls troop. So that's
Thanks.
awesome. Okay.
Yes, she is. We love having her.
Thanks, Liz.
Cool.
We split our scoutmaster is our scoutmasters, because we have Carol, and then we have Mr. Bassett. For our boys side, our point in chief that you see for the troop. But if scouts need something behind, there's a whole pack of assistant scoutmasters that help out. So don't just limit it to two. If you have leaders that want to come in and help, but maybe don't want to be the head, that can help you do that paperwork, they can help you with the other stuff that you just can't get to.
You're right, Liz. It takes a village.
Yeah. A lot of things are spread around. So nobody's, a lot of us, most of us have other things we also do besides scouting, employment and and so forth.
Really?
So it's important to be able to spread that so the time you do put into scouting, you can really enjoy. I'm looking forward to be able to start doing more outdoor things. So it's really exciting to have a spring camporee, even though it may be just a day event, but getting outside and doing some stations, having scouting activities in person is just great. It's been a long time coming. So, all right. Any other thoughts on this one? There's another video. It's about 5 minutes, and maybe the discussion may not be run as long, but I enjoyed watching it. I wanted people to share with folks. Anything else on this one? Great. Thanks, everybody. Okay. So this one is the scouting journey, which I have to see what this leads us. And again, give me a thumbs up if you can hear the sound.
Many of us are fortunate to have experienced the scouting program as a youth member and continue to be involved in this great program today as a scouter. We have memories that will last a lifetime. Scouting is all about experiences and youth members learning the aims of scouting, which are character development, citizenship training, leadership, and mental and physical fitness. Having the aims in mind as a scouter in the Scouts BSA program will help your scouts enjoy a meaningful journey. You can help ensure that happens by having your troop use the 8 methods of scouting. The 8 methods utilized by Scouts BSA to achieve the aims are ideals, patrols, outdoor program, advancement, association with adults, personal growth, leadership development, and uniform. So let's take a few minutes to explore these methods. The ideals of our program are spelled out in the Scout Oath, Scout Law, motto, and slogan. The Scout measures themselves against these ideals and continually tries to improve. The standards are high, and as a Scout strives to meet those standards, they have control over what and who they become. The patrol method gives Scouts an experience in group living and participating in citizenship. Young shoulders learn to bear the weight of responsibility as Scouts interact in small groups where they can easily relate to each other. For some youth, this is the first time they have the opportunity to govern themselves. Our program centers around an outdoor experience. The outdoor setting allows Scouts to share responsibilities and learn to live with one another. Here, the skills and activities practiced at troop meetings come alive. Being close to nature helps Scouts gain an appreciation for God's handiwork and humankind's place in the natural world. Many Scouts do not get the opportunity to explore the outdoors. We as Scouters need to work to make this experience happen. Scouting provides a series of surmountable obstacles and steps to overcome them through the advancement method. The Scout plans their advancement and progresses at their own pace as they meet each challenge. The Scout is rewarded for each achievement, which helps them gain self-confidence. The steps in the advancement system helps a Scout grow in self-reliance and in the ability to help others. Scouts learn a great deal by watching how adults conduct themselves. Scouters must be positive role models for the members of their troops. In many cases, a Scouter willing to listen, encourage, and take a sincere interest in Scouts can make a profound difference in their lives. Scouts experience personal growth as they plan activities and progress towards goals. The good turn concept plays a major part in the personal growth method of Scouting. Young people grow as they participate in community service projects and do good turns for others. The religious emblem program also factors in the personal growth method and will help each Scout to determine their growth towards Scouting's aims. The Scouting program encourages Scouts to learn and practice leadership skills. Every Scout has the opportunity to participate in both shared and total leadership situations. Understanding the concepts of leadership and becoming a servant leader helps a Scout accept the leadership role of others and guides them towards participating, citizenship, and character development. Many prominent leaders who were once Scouts attribute the leadership skills learned in Scouting to their success today. The uniform makes up an iconic part of our program and creates a positive image. The community expects an individual wearing the Scout uniform to do what is right. Wearing the uniform shows the public a Scout's commitment to the aims and purposes of Scouting. The uniform gives the Scout identity in a world brotherhood of youth who believe in the same ideals. The uniform allows the Scout to feel they are part of something bigger than themselves. Many troops occasionally fall into the trap of only focusing on one or two of these methods. As a Scouter, we should guide our Patrol Leaders Council when involving in the annual program plan to make sure all aspects of the methods of Scouting are included if we are to ensure a memorable journey. As Scouters, we need to make sure that the journey our Scouts have provide memorable, positive experiences that will assist them in being the best that they can be for our society's future. The ultimate destination on the Scouting journey lies in our youth achieving the purpose of the Scouts BSA program as embodied in the aims of character development, personal fitness, citizenship, and leadership. Please take the remainder of this breakout session to discuss the questions on the screen. Thank you for watching and for all you do for Scouting.
So this is a bit of a pep talk for things of why we do what we do, why everyone on this call is a Scouter and what we hope to do. I picked this one because of, I think we're at the point where time to start, you're talking about really doing some things in person now. I think okay. Okay. So I know you guys wanted to hear that. We can show you, do the whole thing if you want, but let me go and pull up my slide again. All right. Let's go back to here. So that was okay. Let's go back here. No, we were there. One more time. Okay. This was this is just something to stare at. Okay. So as we talk about getting ready, I think I'm hopeful that most or all our units are making plans for summer camp. Obviously, that's an individual unit, individual parent decision. I encourage units to find some outdoor summer thing to do. If you go to summer camp, obviously our own local council camps have spots open. They would love to have you show up there. If you like going elsewhere, my own troop this year is going to Camp Easton in Idaho, which actually operated last summer, under slightly different operational conditions. But if we look at all the 8 methods there, I was trying to write them all down. I've I failed miserably, but I want to look at each of those. Let's see if I got them. I got leadership skills, we got advancement, we got associating with adults, we got uniform, outdoor. Did I get all of them written down?
Citizenship.
Pardon?
Citizenship.
Citizenship, thank you.
Ideals.
Ideals. That gets me down. I think I'm one short.
Patrols.
Uniform.
I did the manifest. I think patrol method was it. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So if we look at each of those, if you look at all those, are there things that you feel like your unit does well? You like to, say, here's a great thing we tried to do to try and help scouts get experience in this area. And pick any of them are fine. Just say, here's something your unit does, just to share with the other troops. That's part of what we come to Roundtable is to share. Hey, this is what I talked with so-and-so at this troop, and they said they tried this cool thing for citizenship. We had a flag retirement ceremony, or we planted flags on Memorial Day or Veterans Day, or there's, pick any one of these topics that you want to talk to. Otherwise, I can kind of march through them here and just see what people have ideas. All right, I'm going to pick one. Leadership skills.
So my wood badge ticket way back when was to implement, at the time it was troop leadership training, and to make sure that it got done biannually. And of course, that's kind of fallen off right now. But the other thing I was able to do when I was committee chair was find money in the budget to make sure that we started sending boys to NYLT. In 2012, my son and one other boy were the only boys that went to NYLT. And for the past 3 or 4 years, we've regularly sent 4 or 5 boys to NYLT. And it makes a huge difference in how the troop youth run the Patrol Leaders Council and things like that.
That's great. I couldn't have said it better myself. I'm a big fan of that program, and I think it's both running your own internal training at the ILST and sending and selected group of scouts, as many as you think you can. That they're ready for it. So they're going to know both the scout that's actually running the Patrol Leader Council and a number of other scouts that have been through the same program and can speak the same language and know what to expect for Patrol Leaders Council, how to run that each month. So Deb, thank you. Good put there. Any other thoughts that way? All right, great. How about advancement? I think a lot of advance is one of the things that we've been able to do with some success since during COVID started. Certainly not as many scouts have been advancing, but those that have been motivated have found good opportunities to do merit badges, or maybe have advancement nights and work on things just over calls, video calls like this. If any other units got experience there I'd like to share?
We do. We've been having our Patrol Leader Council has been choosing and picking so we do our 4 nights that we have in a month. If there's 4 nights, one of them will be on advancement training, and picking out what each of the patrols, we have 4 patrols, so each patrol teaches and presents the requirement and teaches that with some leadership training with our adult leadership, with working with them. And then the other one that they choose is a merit badge. So either they're focusing on Eagle merit badges and they rotate. So the Patrol Leaders Council right now, the one that they're choosing to start on is cooking. So they're reaching out to the merit badge counselors to make sure. So they're working with adult leadership and working on, these are the requirements of this merit badge we're going to be covering on that night.
Thanks, Liz. Yeah, that's a good one, and it's great to see having the youth running those, but that training and working out through the merit badges, as well as some of your scout skill requirements. So, any other thoughts that way, or other input?
We used the virtual campouts. It was a good place to work on of thing because it gave you something to do. And each patrol, kind of when they had their virtual camp out, just kind of also made a program of, working through some of the things to move to first class for some of our newer scouts.
That's great. The girls troop that's associated with 571, which is Troop 5749, is actually organizing our first virtual camp out. We haven't done any. We've had a few other events, a few Eagle projects and things, but the first will be not this weekend, but next weekend, the 20th and 21st. And so they've been going through the details, trying to get various different scouts and the older scouts to teach certain scout skills. Hopefully things maybe in more detail than you could do just during a normal evening troop meeting. And they're going to have people camping outdoors, in their own backyard or on the deck or wherever it's. But there was a lot of churn or discussion. Very people, well, does have to be outside? I was like, yeah, it kind of needs to be outside. I can't in good conscience give people a camping night for camping in their living room, but so there was discussion on that. Yeah,
Ken, if this young lady wants, we have one scout who's held several virtual campouts for his patrol, and just might have some fun ideas to make it, just things that worked and things that didn't work. Be happy to connect. And
that'd be great, Jonathan. I'll shoot you an email on that, or just actually send me an email with the contact there. I'll probably put you in touch with Janet Bean. She's the scoutmaster for the girls troop, and it's being done jointly, but the girls troop is actually organizing it. I've been, I'll say, more proactive, even though they're a smaller group. So good for them.
Troop 498 is also going to be doing its first virtual campouts, and we've resolved to do them monthly.
Nice.
So that we could spread this out, and we're going to work with the Patrol Leaders Council to select a camping skill that will be the focus of each one. We're going to try to make sure we have a virtual campfire program, because we know that for the communication merit badge, there's a lot of master of ceremonies that need to be done. So we need to make those opportunities. So we're just going to start our first one this next month. We got a little bit more planning to do, but our idea is we're going to keep those going until we can reliably have real outings again.
That's great, Gregory. Thank you for sharing. Do you prefer Greg or Gregory?
I go by both. I just whenever I write it, it's always the full name. It's a family thing. I've got Charlotte's and Alice's, and it's always the full name within the family. Yeah, we named you. We're going to use the whole thing. Outside of that, I'm flexible.
Whatever. Okay, great. Sounds like your mother calling you up and say, Gregory, have you?
We got plenty of names that you can really stretch that out.
Nice. I like it. That's great to hear. Appreciate that. Let's talk about outdoor. It was actually is related to advancement, but let's kind of follow the next topic here. Is our outdoor things. Again, I've mentioned earlier, we've got the whole state will be moving into phase 3 of the kind of back to somewhat normal on the 22nd of this month. So a week and a half from now. And that will allow certain things, outdoor participate in or attendance at outdoor sporting events, for example, not indoor, but outdoor events with appropriate masks and distancing and so forth. But I haven't seen anything published yet as to what that looks like from a camp or scouting things. But I mean, in general, that would gives us a little bit more flexibility in terms of, outdoor things, whether that's hiking or a bike or camp type of activity. Yeah, Deb.
Ken, it looks like the state park system is going to be opening up the group sites with phase 3. So that will hopefully allow troops to get out and do a little bit of car camping to get shake the rust out and get the Webelos that have just crossed over, get them that first night in a tent that they need for tenderfoot and all that other stuff.
Right. Oh, that's great to hear. Thank you. Thanks for passing that along to the rest of the folks here. So that's great. Any other outdoor things that you think groups have tried or are maybe thinking about trying in the next, this spring?
We've got a camping trip that we're planning for Lake Quinault, depending on what they do with the what's allowed. We're starting the planning of it.
Is there a state campground or something? I know where Lake Quinault is. There's a lodge there I've stayed at many a year ago, but is there where do you stay there?
I have no idea. There's somebody else that's planning it.
Is ignoring it, okay.
I may or may not go, but
Yeah. I'd say it's over in the Olympic Peninsula on the west side of the Olympics, but it's a really pretty area, very, very lush and huge trees and a lot of rain, at least at certain times of year, but that's kind of cool. Well, that's great. Yeah, if you think about camp outs or camping, yeah, interesting. For my own, just I mentioned earlier, I won't be at the next roundtable meeting. I will actually be at Florida Sea Base with two boat crews. So I'll be having camping both before and after that, as well as on the boat. And at that point, we've had to commit ourselves to everyone on each boat crew is basically becomes your local family for a period of time. And so we're asking people to get either, if you haven't had your vaccine yet, have a COVID test prior to departure. But that's, we're basically going to be together for about 10 days. So that's a fairly big commitment. But I'm hoping to talk more about that at the May roundtable meeting. Okay, a couple of topics here. So citizenship. One we absolutely something is important to Boy Scouts of America, and something that I expect may have been hard to do a lot with in the last 12 months. Does anybody have any things your troop has done or thinking about doing, or maybe have ideas like talk about? I mean, those are traditional things that I mentioned, whether it's at or marching at a parade or doing something, placing flags at a Veterans Day or Memorial Day. Are there other things that to talk about doing, or maybe we ought to think about doing, or maybe it could be as a district could be organizing?
I have to tell you that the Citizenship and the Community Merit Badge picked up. It didn't slow down, it picked up with some modifications. Instead of the scout going to a meeting, all of the city meetings are virtual, so they're able to attend those, and then they're able to talk to the Merit Badge counselor about it. And so we've been able to do a lot of citizenship in the community, more than other merit badges. So we've seen a lot of scouts wanting to do those 3 merit badges. I'm the merit badge counselor for citizenship in the community, and I was amazed at how many people were interested that, compared to what was before COVID, we had a lot less.
So that's a great one. My own sons, who are at the north upper end of life rank at the moment, they both went through their full citizenship in this community merit badge during COVID, and for that same reason, they went to a City of Sammamish board city council meeting. Actually went to a couple times. Wrote up a summary of that, talked to the merit badge counselor, what they learned there. Great experience, and got a sense of kind of how meetings are run at a local government level. Great experience. The one that I know they had trouble with was finding a place you could do your 8 hours of service to a local community organization. Certainly there's some, it's opened up a bit since then, whether things at like Eastside Baby Corner or at, I know we end up doing
the one that I've seen the most has been scouts wanting to do a food drive.
Yes.
So the food bank still needs help, and the food bank is still taking donations, but they're not taking donations the way they used to.
Right.
But so with some coordination, that one seems to work out pretty well, to where you can do it during these times, and somebody can get 8 hours in.
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally, or I'm trying to remember, I think I've seen a couple where there was I'm going to screw this up. I can't remember if it was King County or whether it was the city was doing a planting project, and we had a scout that tagged on with some other group that was doing it. So they were all outdoors, they were spread out, but the city had laid out, or the county, whatever it was, laid out where things are going to be planted, so they could just basically be by themselves, distant from other people, and planting. So there's definitely some ways to get your volunteerism in. It's just that is the hardest part of citizenship in the community.
Finding,
right now.
and getting signed up for those spots to do that. Yeah, we had some scouts that went to the Bellevue Urban Garden T-Bug, which is just north of East Gate. And they have a nice community. It's cold. It got cold to be working at this, just starting in the spring work session, but they've got a continuous amount of need of volunteer to help.
I'll put a plug. We have an Eagle Scout candidate that's working on his project, and he needs some volunteers. And anybody's interested, feel free to contact me. But he's doing a planting. I think it's just off of Northeast 8th in Sammamish.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if it's the city or the county, but there's a park there that they needed planting around a water retention pond to help it. And he's doing a couple hundred plants, and he needs some volunteers. And so if you send me a note, I'll connect you with him.
Great. Jonathan Koshar, Troop 636. And that would be conservation hours as well. So if you have someone in STAR that's looking to get to life and needs those 3 conservation hours, great place to get that. Great. Okay, a couple more topics, or 3 or 4 more. Ideals. And this is what I want to think about. That's important, very important part of the scouting program. And I'm trying to figure out how to. I'll be perfect. I don't know that my own troop has done a bang-up job with that in the last 12 months, or even how to go about doing that. I mean, it's important, just part of sort of overall what we aspire to in scouting. But are there things that one can do or talk about, or as an activity in terms of the ideals for the scouting program, particularly at the troop level?
So this is Miss Liz. After we started this, and now that we've been in COVID, we haven't been on this quite as much.
Mm-hmm.
But after we do outings, we have a little survey that the scouts do to go over the scout laws, and how they incorporate it into what they did or what they could do better. And they don't share it with us. It's all done by self. But it gives them a guidance to think about and reflect on what we've done and accomplished, and where they can maybe improve next time.
Nice. I like that. So that could be after a hike or a conservation or a service project or another activity they've done. That's a nice way to kind of pass along, let the scouts think about that and reflect. That's nice. Thanks, Liz. Any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I'll add that one of the ones they did not mention in the ideas. So you had the Scout Oath, the Scout Law, the motto, and the slogan. There's also the Outdoor Code that comes up during Eagle Board reviews, but it can come up elsewhere. And I believe the story goes, Liz, Greg, correct me if I'm wrong, that there was at least a couple of scouts in our troop who kind of went, I have no idea what the outdoor code is. And so they incorporated it into the scout meeting so that we say the outdoor code, we say the Scout Oath, we say the Scout Law, and then we also say the outdoor code at the start and end of every troop meeting. And
Great.
So by, 5-6 troop meetings in, the scouts have it memorized.
That's good. Good put, Carol. I know our troop has done that since I've joined it. We would that same thing just at the beginning, either at the beginning or the end of the meeting. Typically do them at the beginning, only just now because we're just on video, but we do the Scout Oath Law and the outdoor code for that reason, just because it helps people to remember it. And when I was conducting boards review, I was always trying to remember what order the outdoor code things what those are in. I always remember what they are. I never remember quite what order they're in, so it took me a while to have a little cheat sheet to look at them. So that's great. Good thought. That's an important part of the ideals of the program, and how make sure that's something I can think about every time we meet. It's important. That's great. Patrol method. Plus, do you have any patrols that are meeting individually, that meet, or just have separate patrol, as is, maybe it's one day a month, one meeting a month is a patrol meeting instead, or if your units are maybe have an enthusiastic patrol leader. I know the 2 patrols in my troop that are meeting regularly are actually our youngest patrols. Our troop does ours by eighth grade, school grade. And these are the kids that are scouts that are sixth grade right now. And they crossed over a year from ago, and they've had, no in-person activities effectively, or nearly none. But they've been holding bi-weekly pack meeting or patrol meetings, which is great. And you can tell the ones that are active because they're advancing a lot, which is fabulous. Versus some of the other older scouts are maybe working on things on their individually. But are there things with the patrol method that's either maybe you've done during COVID that's successful, or things maybe we ought to try to focus on as we start to be able to look at doing things, some in-person activities?
I'll say the older scouts in our troop have kind of developed these challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the first ones they did was they went on a bike ride together. So this was early on in COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And then they turned around and said, okay, you other patrols, get your thoughts together on how you're going to do an outing event biking. So biking, you can generally be out of each other's faces pretty easily. And several of the patrols did that. Some did not, but the ones who did do it really got, they got to see each other and had successful event that they could come back and talk about. The other thing that the older scouts have done, and I'm talking about the oldest patrol that we've got, so they're juniors,
Mm-hmm.
They have decided to, okay, let's put together a cooking video. And they each show their cooking video at the troop meetings to kind of encourage the other scouts to work on their own cooking, or for those patrols to put together cooking videos, whatever sticks. They're just kind of throwing it out there to get them to do something one way or another. Another thing they did was Frisbee golf. And so a few patrols went out and did that as well.
Fun for a little sporting event. Nice. I like that. That's great. Yeah, and I know like at Carnation, there's a Frisbee golf course there. There's probably others closer to home, depending on where you're located. Do I know those videos, would they be worth showing up on the Alpine District Facebook page or something? Because it's one of those things that we've got. If someone's done something, it's worth sharing it with other scouts around so they can get used to see things, get ideas and take advantage of someone else's, efforts and work. It doesn't have to be, professional grade video, just as a scouting thing. This is something I did. Let's share with another.
Yeah, we can look at those and see what might be good to post up.
Yeah, and that's for any. I know our Order the Arrow chapter had put together a few videos that way. Trying to look. I think they're looking at one in knife and axe safety, a little clip on something. Just a great one to share as a place to start for, particularly when you're doing online kinds of things. So, thanks, Carla.
Okay.
All right, I got two more topics. Associating with adults. So one of the things that's challenging under COVID is the only adults they may have seen may be their own parents for a long time, unless they have a small circle of, near close family, or maybe they have maybe your family set up with a group of a circle they could go have overnighters with their couple friends or something. That's what we've ended up doing ourselves. But so what ended up doing? Has there been a chance to do any, having your scouts interacting with adults in your own units through, even if it's through, a Zoom meeting or call?
Well, certainly merit badge counselors.
Yes.
Encouraging boys to work with as many different merit badge counselors as possible so that they get exposed to different adults. You never want to see a scout, who has half of his merit badges from, his ASM or committee chair parent.
Right.
Diversity, and learning how to interact with different people is an important skill. And whether it's on Zoom or whether it's, in person, I think that's one of the key, besides exposing boys to some necessary information, like in the Eagle Requireds, or exposing them to potential hobbies or careers with other merit badges. I think getting boys to interact with different adults is one of the main goals of the merit badge program.
Deb, well stated. Couldn't say it better myself. It's and I encourage, as you mentioned, having scouts work with as many different merit badge counselors as possible is great, because they do. If you're going to set up your meeting, or whether it's just a Zoom call, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to talk with them. They've got their parent maybe sitting out of sight that can hear, to make sure you're still meeting your youth protection rules. But have a chance to share, okay, I walked through this, I did these things, and they're explaining to the merit badge counselor. There's a chance for the scout to learn to interact with those adults in that fashion. It's not their school teacher or their parent. So that's really good experience. Other things, how about like boards reviewed? I know some folks, maybe most of us, have been on one or number of boards reviewed or Eagle boards in the last year. Any other have thoughts on that? Jonathan, I know you were on I think the first Eagle board that we ran virtually back, I don't know, April or May last year.
You know, certainly the Eagle Board Review will give the scouts some exposure to adults virtually, and then the Board of Reviews within the troop for every rank, they have that opportunity. You know, I'll be honest though, it is not the same as, you know, going on a camping trip where, you know, there's the geezer patrol and there's, you know, the scouts and, you know, are hiking together. It's not the same, but they are getting the opportunity to speak and present and answer questions and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's good. It's, you know, it's
not as good as in person, but it can be done, and there's still
you gotta
value.
make do. It's a weird time. You gotta make do.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's over soon.
Yep.
And there are opportunities right now for scouts to not only work with adults in their troop, but also merit badge counselors from across the country. Now, I've worked with scouts because of the, you know, merit badge fairs in, you know, New Jersey and Georgia and Texas and New Mexico, and just hearing, you know, different perspectives on things and hearing about the cool scout camps in New Jersey. It's like, this is awesome.
Yeah, I think there's things that will take out of this that wouldn't have happened if COVID had not occurred. I wouldn't say I wished COVID happened, but there's things that have come out of this that will, you know, there may be connections or opportunity ways to do things in scouting that maybe we hadn't thought of or wouldn't have done anyway. And part of that is just being able to work with folks over a much broader geographic area. So it's a great example, Carol. So that is good. And you mentioned there, particularly if you're having a discussion with scouts, you got people from different parts of the country. I mean, previously you'd only be having those conversations during the jamboree on the internet. They would do which always happens the same day as the program training conference. You talk to scouts from all over the world, but if you now you're doing that almost at any time, or at least people who are comfortably doing so. So that's great. All right, last one is uniform. And I see most of you here this evening are wearing uniform, those who are in uniform positions, which is great. So thank you for doing so. I would say, listing my own troop, I would say it's been a hard go during COVID to get someone to scout to want to go and put the uniform on to sit in front of a video camera. But so I think getting that will be something that at least my own troop will have to start to kind of make that as a priority. Sometimes I've done things where I've done once you're in person, bring a box of Krispy Kreme donuts, and we'll have a uniform check. So okay, have everybody stand up. Everyone that's wearing your scout uniform shirt, or not wearing uniform shirt, step back. If you're wearing your belt or not wearing a belt, you just until you get down to neckerchief, slide, whatever, socks, hat, everything till you get down to the last people, you get down to the last dozen people and say, okay, you guys get to split the donut box. Probably where the best, just to do that randomly with just so people, that was kind of a fun thing I tried to do occasionally, trying to encourage folks. Part of the challenge I've had or faced oftentimes is getting your older scouts to set the example by doing that. If you have an SPL that makes that a priority to make that understanding the value of having scout in uniform, and the adults setting example do that as well.
I have a suggestion that
Really?
our former patrol leader group actually did. They did a challenge between the patrols, and the patrols that were best equipped with all of their uniforms won the challenge. Yeah. Nice. So it took us out of the, doing it all, and it gave them, that was their idea.
Yes, I like that better, because then you're not forcing it down somebody's throat. It's like they want it. Then it's a bit of a little competition. Always goes a long way, particularly as scouts this age. A little competition goes an awful long way. That is good. Good idea. Thanks, Liz. Other thoughts there? All right. Well, we are coming up right up to 8:30, which is the time we normally end Roundtable. This was a great set of discussions here. I really appreciate everyone that joined in. I think we'll interleave some of these online materials that are available through the National Commissioner site, because they do facilitate some really good discussions, which is part of the. I mean, it's nice to have, if you have somebody coming and give a presentation about some interesting topic, whether it's another scouter or someone from outside in a certain area. But there's also things we just want to talk about just between units, like how you guys doing in this area. What ideas, and you can spread that around so you can get that knowledge passed along, and not just people that are on the call, but to other people within their units. So if you can pass that, bring that back to your own troop committee meeting, your ASM meetings, talk about things or hear some ideas for things. You start doing some things live again. It's great. So, all right, that's all I've got tonight. Anybody around the call, any other announcements or thoughts you want to pass along? All right, well, with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it a wrap for the evening. Thank you for joining our March roundtable meeting for the Alpine District, and I wish you a great rest of the month. Talk to you guys later. Good night.
Thanks, Ken. Great meeting.
Night. Thank you.
Night, everybody.
Have fun in Florida.
Thank you.
Thank you. I sure hope so.
Ken, Stan.
I'm here.
Yep.
Stan, let me, if you hang on 1 second, I'll send it to you.
Okay, thanks.
What, you guys have a secret squirrel message going on?
He asked for my email address. Okay, I mean, my guess is that he can find it 1,000 other ways, but this is just convenient. So relax. Do you want my email address, Carol? How many places have you gotten my email address, Carol?
I didn't want to look it up.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's exactly what I wanted to do. But Carol's just has to pick on me. I understand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep recording this just because it's worth.
You should. Yeah.
I will. Yeah.
You record that Carol was picking on me as I was trying to be helpful.
So yeah. That'll be the only clip. We'll just save that little 30-second clip to include for everyone else.
Put that out on the Alpine District website.
Oh yeah, my dad is gonna be so proud. I'm sure.
Okay.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Stopping the video now. Good night.
Stan, congrats on taking over the role as Scoutmaster. And if you need anything, if just want to kick things around, I'm happy to chat anytime. I'm no longer a Scoutmaster, so I've got a little more time.
Well, it's committee chair. It's committee chair.
Oh, okay.